So now most attendees are online, and I would like to welcome you again to our webinar today. The topic of today is PDFA conversion. We'll show you the practical and easy way to do it. So this will also show some real scenarios to do it. I would like to introduce myself briefly. My name is Thomas Zellmann. I'm working here in the sales department of LuraTech, and as LuraTech is also quite active in the PDFA competency center of the PDF Association, I'm also the managing director of the PDF Association. You can see my picture on the left, and Armin will assist me and do the practical part, and Armin will also introduce himself and give some practical advices.
Hello and good morning or good afternoon from my side. My name is Armin Ortmann and I'm the CTO, meaning I am responsible for the development of the PDF Compressor and other LuraTech products here with the development team. And today I will give you a short technical presentation of how to convert documents with the PDF Compressor. Also, some quick technical notes from my side. You may have noticed we are the only ones talking here right now, Thomas and myself. Everyone else is muted in the audience, but that does not mean that we are not eager for your questions. If you have questions, please type them into that small questions window that the GoToMeeting software provides you, and we will try our best to answer your questions in the course of the webinar or right afterwards. From our experience, we know that this is not always possible, and sometimes the questions are also very detailed and very technical. If we don't manage to address a question in the course of the webinar, we will do our best to answer it afterwards per email. And also, if there is something you notice after the webinar, of course, don't hesitate to contact us via phone or our support email address. All our contact details are shown at the end of the webinar. And also, after the actual presentation has ended, a short questionnaire will appear where we would also like you to give us feedback as to the quality, both technical and in terms of contents of the webinar, so that we can continue to strive to improve our presentations. Yes, thank you very much, and I hand back over again to Thomas for the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Armin, for the introduction. So I would start with some introduction slides. So first of all, I would like to give you a very short overview about LuraTech. So some of you may know LuraTech already if you have not heard of LuraTech so far. So LuraTech is a software company specializing on document conversion. So this is our main topic, and this goes as well for scanned as for digital documents, and obviously as the topic of today, PDFA. This is our expertise, so where we can help and assist to convert documents to the long-term ISO standard PDFA. From the product families, we mainly offer two families, and the main product also here in the focus of today is the PDF Compressor, which is, as you will see in the practical demo, a server tool in order to convert scanned and digital documents. And our second main product family is Dockyard, which is a complete input management platform, which is also for document conversion. This is not the topic of the day, but there are also other webinars which you may be interested in the future. So you have seen the short movie already, so I think or hope you're a little bit up to date on PDFA. So I want to do a quick recap on PDFA. So PDFA is a worldwide ISO standard, and the main goal was long-term archiving, to enable long-term archiving of business documents. So we all know the IT is moving quite fast, and there is definitely the need out there in the applications, in the organizations, to have a safe, long-term safe archiving format. This is the main goal of PDFA. PDFA was already standardized in 2005, and the ISO on the one hand defined a standard which will never become invalid. which is organized in parts, which is a PDFA part 1. But on the other hand, life goes on, technology moves on, so ISO also adapts senseful technologies which do not disturb or disturb the goal of long-term archiving and organize this in parts. So there's a PDFA part 2 and the PDFA part 3, which is a rather new one. We will come back to this later. And the main goal is to really guarantee the reproducibility of archival documents in the far future, so in an unknown, unpredictable technical future. So think 10, 20 years back, and the computers you used at this point in time look totally different, and totally different operating systems like we use today. And nobody knows what the fast-moving IT industry will use and have for devices and operating systems in 10, 20 years from now. So the goal is really something which guarantees that documents, as you have seen in the movie, maybe financials, insurance documents, which needs to be kept for 50 or 80 or even longer times, and this is a very long time in our IT industry, but the documents must be there, must be available, and in most application cases there is no paper anymore, so the only original is really the digital document, which is very valuable and important for your organization. So this is a main goal of the PDFA ISO standard, and the base principles, which have also been demonstrated in the short movie, so I just picked the 2 highlights. So the one main principle and also rule of the PDFA standard is that a document must be self-containing, so everything what is needed to reproduce this document needs to be in the document. And a very simple example to keep in mind is just simple things like Arial or Times New Roman font must be embedded, because nobody knows whether even in 10 years we still use a Windows operating system where fonts are installed on the system. So this is the one point. And the other one, to make it a reliable and a safe document, is that things which may endanger this goal are forbidden, and samples are here the active documents. So if you think of PDF, you may have seen this, you may have JavaScript, which are really small or even extended programs within a PDF file, but this is dangerous and therefore forbidden, or other unsecure content is not allowed in a PDFA file. So PDF always was, and PDFA is dedicated to this goal and target to have a container for archival of many sources. And very simple speaking, PDFA is electronic paper. So if you just want to keep a very simple explanation, so paper has proven over the centuries, and electronic PDFA should be the same thing in our digital world to guarantee the long term of documents. So this is what we like to call our world picture. So it, in a general way, describes the application areas you have in your organization, and this is where PDFA can be used and can help to guarantee safe documents. So in the middle we have what starts with a piece of paper, so this may be a digital mailroom application, this may be a digitization project, think of insurance folders or bank folders or construction folders, which are available in paper and are to be digitized now in order to get all the benefits of digitized documents and digital workflows. Here on the right side, on the one hand, are what I would call the internal documents, so all the documents which are created within your organization. So obviously Office, whether it's Windows Office or Open Office or other Office packages, are a lot of documents which you create in your organization, and also the output, so host is here a sample for the output documents which you also want to keep. So if you send a letter to your customer, then obviously you want to keep a digital copy in your archive in order to have the complete communication with your customer in one place, or your document management system, however your organization is organized. And on the left side, obviously your organization receives a lot of digital electronic documents from all different sources with unknown quality. And as an example, it's PDF files, which are also can be checked and can be converted to the safe PDFA format. And this brings you then also to the second major benefit of PDFA, to have a synchronous format in your archive. So just think of your archive today. You may really have a zoo of different formats, TIFF, JPEG, print formats, Office formats, and so on. PDFA, if needed, also has in the standard that a digital signature can be embedded, technical, very sophisticated, and then on the other side you have a safe viewer, so also the normal worker in your organization just needs a PDF viewer and can work with the logical things in your organization, or a printer, so also more or less a viewer, but also very important. So if you exchange, and you do exchange a lot of documents with your business partners, then obviously PDFA is a very trustable version to exchange data. When we briefly looked into the different technical areas, and we like to split the world into two ways. The one is it starts with a piece of paper, so for scanned documents, and obviously PDFA is a very well format for scanned documents with a lot of benefits. So on the one hand, PDFA allows for sophisticated compression. So here on the bottom we have some samples. So it's always a scanned document with a 300 dpi resolution and normal business letter size or A4 document. So if you do this totally uncompressed in TIFF in color, then obviously one page gets 24, 25 megabyte, and you don't need a calculator to check. This will not work for your millions of documents in your organization. Therefore, the decision was very often to go to black and white, but this is okay 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but now really color is state of the art. In former times, if color was needed, think of an insurance case file, then JPEG was used, but this one is heavily or marketing-like compressed, and then it very fast gets very bad. And the modern PDFA format allows for high compression where you get optimal quality, and if you just compare the sizes, you don't need to remember the figures, but just like the size you know from black and white. And this is reached by sophisticated MRC compression, which a document which is scanned is not compressed at once like it is done with JPEG, but it's split into 3 layers. They are all internal in one PDF file, so when you look from the outside you don't see it, but you can switch it in Adobe Reader, and this gives you a black and white layer. So this is basically the text information, which is black text on white background. The information that the text was written in color is in the so-called text color layer, and what is graphics, images, logos, things like that go into the background layer, which can be very highly compressed. And here on the right side is a little bit more for the technical people which already have heard or worked with PDFA. You see what kind of compression is used. It's JPEG, or Part 2 allows JPEG 2000 or JPEG 2. And one of the major benefits with PDFA is also, which is that a scanned document, which is first of all just an image, just pixels, no information, can be made full text searchable through sophisticated OCR, and then you get a really full text searchable PDFA document. So those are the benefits of PDFA when you go for scanned documents. And the other part of the world is the born digital world. So you start already with an electronic or digital document, and I try to describe a little bit again the general application area. So Office is in brackets, so this may be any Office system like OpenOffice, like Microsoft Office, and then it's quite sensible at a logical good point in time in the workflow to convert this to a PDFA file to have a safe document for long-term archiving. PDF, the good thing is there are thousands of tools in the market where you can select. The bad news is that some of them unfortunately produce technically bad PDF, and this may endanger your archive. So a conversion from PDF to PDFA guarantees a safe and a technical good PDF. And obviously email, so when you think of general input management, and emails come in, and also this can be converted. And when we look into the newest part of PDFA, of PDFA. This was a part 3, which was published by ISO in the last year, and this extends the always available idea of PDF to use PDF as a container, and this container can carry, on the one hand, guarantee a very safe document, but on the other hand, in the container you can add whatever is sensible for your archive. And here are the samples, which are also, let's say, the technical types which you specify if you create a PDFA file. So the one thing is the source. So what I do in daily work now every day is when I'm ready with my Word, when I have exchanged this with my colleagues and I have what I would call the final version of my Word, then I generate a PDFA3, so I have a safe PDF3, and I embed the Word file in case anybody in my organization or from my external partners wants to work work further on with the Word, or think of a construction. So if you have CAD, if you are in an industry, a construction company, then the DWG format is quite used, and then you can embed this very simple. Or if you have digital sign files, then it may be quite sensible to convert those also to PDFA3 while embedding and keeping the original sign file within one object. So you have one file which on the one hand contains a safe PDFA and on the other hand the original. And just 2 weeks ago I spoke with a customer who has a lot of TIFF files with the belonging PKCS7 signature files, which is already a small challenge to keep those files together. But with PDFA3 you really create it in one piece, and you just have to make sure this archive object is within your systems and available. The second option would be a supplement. So something which belongs to this document but is not a complete or just a part. And one sample I just had a week ago was that we worked with colleagues on a mind map thing. So we embedded the mind map graphic, and the third one is the alternative representation. And this is a hot topic in Germany now, but also worldwide, so also in Europe or within the world. There are the topic of electronic invoicing, where you still have a PDF invoice like you know it for a long time. You can view the PDF invoice, you can print it, and the administration can check and pay it. And there are a lot of initiatives also worldwide to generate a structured XML which contains the invoice data, and this allows not to process the PDF invoice manually, but to process this with a machine or with a machine-readable version and directly import this into, let's say, a target ERP system like SAP, for example. So this as a small introduction, and now I will hand over to Armin, who will show you the PDF compressor. And as we said, we want to show you the practical and easy way to go. So it will really start with the installation, and so you can see how easy it is to set up, and also samples of conversion. Armin takes over, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. And I'm now switching to this screen, where we do have already the setup of PDF Compressor downloaded. So we don't really start with the download link, but we start with the installation. That's it. Okay, so here is the setup.exe for the most recent version, which is version 6.3 something. So I'm now freshly installing PDF Compressor, and I'm going to license for this fresh installation now. So we're going to use PDF Compressor in the demo setup, which you may know or may not know. It basically provides all the functionality. So for example, you see here forms recognition and the Born Digital option. And it will, as the only change, it will embed a big semi-transparent demo logo on every single page. So don't pay too much. Of course, those go away as soon as you acquire a fully licensed version. Showing you this. So Thomas is telling me my audio is bad. I hope this does not have too much to do not only with the many icons on my desktop, but also with some programs running in the background. So I'm hoping this will improve as I have shut down a few things. Thomas, what about the audio? Better now? Okay. All right. Okay, so I do have PDF Compressor installed now, but we're still waiting for the screen to actually update. Okay, here we go. I beg your pardon for that, but it may also have to do with network traffic or whatever. Let's see whether we can continue smoothly with the presentation. So I do have a demo version of PDF Compressor set up on this machine right here now, and I can simply generate so-called job entries by dragging and dropping, say, a folder here. And I can then proceed to edit the properties here. So we'll take input from this folder of scanned TIFF files, and we will submit them to good old MRC compression, including OCR, meaning we'll do text recognition and add an invisible layer of text to the results. And for now, I would like to generate PDFA to U, the U meaning Unicode. And that's about all you need at this point to get this job running. I clicked start. I'm just receiving this note that we're still running in demo. You're going to see that again a few more times. And these green bars over here tell us that we are now starting to generate results. And I actually specified them to go right into the same folder as the files. You can find the folder. I'll show that with the next example. And let's see which one we can show. Maybe let's put down here. This is obviously a scan of an ancient demo logo. And what you also see is that it's PDFA, blue bar here signifies it, and you can also see here that PDFA to U. It doesn't contain any attachments, and the layers here are the background, which is basically all the image content of this scan. So if I disable display of the background, you basically get a black and white image, and you do have the text color, which is basically the additional color of the foreground text. So those are the three layers that the MRC compression splits the document into, and all three layers are compressed via different algorithms and with different settings. Maybe one more quick example. The job has meanwhile finished here. So we do have this order form, and again, if I disable the background here, you really see all the blue background, all the images disappear. We still have the so-called foreground and the text, and you can also see I can select text here, which is the result of the OCR and hidden text embedding. And if I disable the text color, then it essentially becomes a black and white document. Okay, and if we quickly take a look at the file sizes, you see that a 3 megabyte input document easily gets compressed to some 36 megabytes of PDF. So we are talking about ranges of a 1 to 50 to a 1 to 100 compression here. Of course, the compression ratio, where we're specifying compression rather by the quality than by the exact ratio here. So the ratio, of course, depends on the complexity of the inputs, so to speak. Okay, let's see what else we have. Born Digital Conversion contains a few Microsoft Office documents, so we do have 2 Word documents in here and 1 PowerPoint presentation and an Excel sheet. And just to quickly show you, they're really boilerplate documents, nothing specific here, except that this one takes a while to open. Well, come on. Well, maybe I'll show you that one instead. This is really just a good old Excel sheet. No idea what the numbers in here mean, but you're basically getting what we are talking about. And again, I can simply drag and drop this folder over to the PDF Compressor window, and at this point I'll specify a different output folder. Let's say we're going to write the results to output, and of course I'll change the mode from MRC compression, which would not work for these types of documents, to PDFA conversion, and as a special extra I'll say PDFA 3U and have it embed the original files into the the converted PDFA results. So I'm specifying here that for each output file generated, the input Microsoft Office document should be embedded, as Thomas mentioned it, as an attachment to the PDFA3 document. And so again, I'm ready to start this job. I'm getting the note for evaluation mode, and let's see what happens here in the output folder. Again, it's taking a moment. Okay, there we have the first PDF document, and what you see here, again, it's PDFA3U, and this time it does contain an attachment, and that attachment is the original Word document. So basically, by just double-clicking here, I can open up this document in Microsoft Word. Okay, so there are some more documents coming in. Of course, this used to be a little faster when I originally tried it. Well, that's how it goes. As a third example, I would like to show you PDF to PDFA conversion. So again, creating a new job via drag and drop. And again, setting it to Born Digital Conversion. But as you see, when we take a look at the input folder, it contains a few documents which are just plain PDF, no PDFA here, and we do want to convert them to PDFA now. Again, let's say I'm gonna write them to output. This time I don't want the original documents to be embedded, and I'll just plainly say PDFA to you. And also, we do know beforehand that this document presents problems in terms of converting it to Unicode. So in this document, something is amiss with the character encoding, and therefore the Unicode mapping that is required for every single character in a PDFA to U document. That's what the U stands for, Unicode. This is not going to work here. and so you're going to see an error message for this one document when I start it. So I'm moving over to the output folder. And you see this is PDFA2U, and nothing is embedded. And again, maybe as a proof that we did really convert it, you see the LuraTech logo embedded. Third case would be the embedding of not the source file, but a different file, as Thomas already announced it. So in the input we do have a docx file as a Word document, and we do have an additional file, which is this mind map document. This time I think I put a mind map viewer on the machine beforehand, and you see that's what the mind map looks like. It's actually an organizational diagram of this FAIRD working group, which is the committee for this German electronic invoicing via XML embedded into PDFA3. And the docx file actually does already contain this mind map, but we want to, just to be sure, we want to embed both files into one and the same PDFA3 result. So what I do here is, again, Born Digital Conversion. Again, choosing output and PDFA3U. So far so good. And now I'm telling it to embed the input file and also embed other files, which in this case is only one. And with this pattern here, this template, I'm telling it to embed a file in the same input directory of the same base name, but with an MAAP extension, which is this one here. So what we should get is a PDFA file with two embedded files. One would be the Word source document, and the other one would be this additional mind map document. Even though it's only converting a single file, it takes a second. What we get here is this. And so you see a PDFA representation of the actual Word document plus two attachments, and the one is the docx and the other one, I can double click it once again, is the mind map file. So keep in mind there are different attachments that you can make, basically arbitrary many, but of course one would be the source representation and the other one would be an additional file. You can actually specify this type of relation down here, so there are different types of relationships that you can select from depending on your context and your requirements. And finally, as a special case for that, I would like to show you this Zugwert file embedding. This is the German upcoming standard for electronic invoicing. Basically, what you have is a PDFA3 document with an embedded XML representation. Although it's a German initiative, the XML, I just double-clicked it to show it to you in Internet Explorer. This is what it looks like, and you already see all the tags are in English, and it's actually compliant with this UNCEFACT standard for international invoice exchange. And what it is basically a technical representation of the invoice data, the text representation is this PDF. That's what you would get in the mail. But if you get it as an attachment, say to your email, this invoice, it may contain such an XML, and the special Zugpferd standard would ensure that it's actually compliant to the format and can be automatically consumed by downstream software, such as, again, your bookkeeping or controlling software. This one is the source document, so it doesn't already contain the XML file. I have already dropped it in here. Again, I forgot to drop the proper input folder. Never mind. Nah. That's input. This one would be output. As a mode, again, since we're talking about typeset digitally produced PDF files, we would again select PDFIA conversion. And as a target format, again, we have PDFA3U. And now for the embedding part, I would embed other files. Again, I have to specify this name template .xml, and I've also have to select this Zugpferd XML, because not only does it embed the XML file, but it does set a few additional PDF metadata tags in order to signify that it's not only a PDF with an attached XML, but it's one of these Zugpferd compliant electronic invoices, and the metadata also exactly points out that the XML, or which of possibly several attached XML files, is the electronic representation of the invoice data. And while I'm talking, I should actually already be doing this. And we do have these two files here. And now you see two result files in the output folder. And let's again open up this one. And this time you see it's PDFA compliant, and it does contain this XML structure right as we saw it before, with all the relevant invoice data, including addresses, including the all the list of goods sold and shipped, the tax amounts, and the banking information. Okay. Thomas, I hope I was in sync with what was seen on our users' screens, and anything else you might want to add or which I forgot or omitted.
Yes, thank you very much, Armin. So you skipped the error message, but no problem here. But the point is that what we also wanted to show is that especially sounds the most simple thing to convert PDF to PDFA, but in practice, or from a technical point of view, this is really the most difficult thing, and there are maybe some issues, but this is also, let's say, on the one hand, bad news that you then discover that something is wrong in your PDF file. On the other hand, it's good news. You recognize it now, and you do not recognize it in 10 or 20 years from now, where it may be quite hard to figure out what went wrong with this document, and to fix and to repair. And yeah, thank you very much, Armin. So I hope you have shown how easy PDF Compressor can be set up, and you have seen the jobs which Armin created. So as you have seen, you can have in PDF Compressor different jobs for different tasks or different document types, let's put it this way. And obviously in the demo, Armin did it quite fast, but also in real production practice, it may take half a day or a day where you fine-tune a little bit on the few parameters in order to get the best results. But then basically you create and configure such a job once a time, and then this job is there forever, and you can process millions of documents for a very long time, and PDF Compressor really will do the job in the background. So it's very good to see and to understand how the conversion is done. But in a practical application, PDF Compressor really runs as a background conversion server, and this also here describes how this could be look like in a real organization. So obviously Armin had a demo laptop, and when you use it in your organization, and this is how I tried to sort it a little bit, but obviously there's also an individual discussion. So as you have seen, there can be scanned documents which come typically from the hardware scanner as TIFF or JPEG file, or all the born digital things where Armin showed some nice examples, and from a, let's say, very general configuration, and this depends on your volume, on your document types, on the part in your organization where you want to do it. So but it can start quite small, so just one PC, which also only requires a normal Windows operating system, where PDF Compressor can work on documents for a single person up to, let's say, a small department. Then there's what I like to call the medium configuration. Then you have a conversion server sitting somewhere in your IT configuration, which can serve a department, a large area, a location, up to the whole company, obviously also depending on the organization and company size, and up to large configurations. So we also have very high volume customers which, for example, do 25 million pages of digital mailroom per year. So obviously this is cannot be done with a laptop anymore. Then you have a multi-core system, and we have customers which use 8 or 16 or even 32 core servers to handle a high workload, but PDF Compressor is also able to work in the background without a lot of administration or problems. But then it may be really the case that you say, okay, in my digital mailroom I have a scan compression server, so you have one dedicated hardware or part of your VMware configuration which is used for the scan compression, and maybe also for other application areas you have a born digital server, and if this goes into high volume, there's obviously the multi-core option. Also from the, let's say, license and pricing models, we try to be flexible here to have very good options for the different needs and for the different configurations. And here are the base models just for your information. So let's say for the small and medium projects we have what we call the advanced model, whereas advanced is a yearly page volume which ranges from 50,000 up to 500,000 pages. So think of smaller scan operations, distributed scanning, for example, or born digital. If you do it on a department level, then what typically within our customer base is a standard, is a PDF Compressor Unlimited for one core. So this can handle, depending on the documents, 2 to 5 million pages per year. And as I mentioned, when you really go into the high end, when your needs are high volume, millions of documents, and the multi-core options 4, 8, up to 32 or even more cores can handle this. And as a rule of thumb, this starts with 5 million pages per year, obviously depending, but we can calculate this. This is, let's say, what we have for the permanent usage of PDF Compressor, so you do it ongoing in your digital mailroom. And we also have a model if one time is needed, so think of a digitization of 100,000 folders, or a conversion of an existing archive with TIFF files, for example, with 1 million pages. There we have what we call the cartridges, so this gives you 1 million pages, so you do the conversion, migration job of my example, and then after that the job is done, but also the PDF Compressor is used then. And this can be flexible, combined with scan and born as your needs. So as a short summary, and I hope you have seen this also during our webinar, just again also the benefits of PDFA. So PDFA for archiving, I hope this is one of the information you take off from this webinar, is obviously a safe long-term archiving format as I tried to present it. The second benefit is also what we like to call the synchronization of the format zoo. So if you have all those different formats in your archive today on the mid-term or long-term, so this goes typically in real customer scenarios step by step. So when you start special projects, PDFA is always a good thing to consider as one criteria of this new project, and then step by step you can really synchronize your archive to have one safe and reliable format in your archive. And as I showed, or as we have shown, technical PDF is also, PDFA is also technical good PDF. So all the, let's say, details, technical details which may be wrong and which endanger your archive will be detected while converting a PDF file to PDFA. And I hope we have also seen that PDF Compressor is a real simple conversion server, easy to install, easy to go, and can then do the automatic PDFA conversion in the background. So we would like to thank you for your interest in our webinar. We hope you got some interesting information. Obviously, we are there for further questions and information. When you want to test PDF Compressor, we would be happy if you either request it via our website, or we have a try and buy section when you go to www.luratech.com, or please feel also free to contact us, me directly via email. I would like to thank you for your interest, and the last word for Armin, whether there are some open questions which we can now answer before we finish.
Yes, we do have one question, which is whether processing such jobs as we just saw, the 5 things that I set up via drag and drop in the PDF compressor, each of those entries we consider a job. You can set them up to watch a folder permanently. So you're not only processing the contents of a folder as it is at the moment you're setting up the job, and but you can also constantly monitor a folder. Of course, in that case, it's recommended to move input files out of that input folder once they have been processed, so that you always have basically an up-to-date queue of what still needs processing. And each individual job entry in the PDF compressor can point to a different folder, and it's also possible to include input folders with that as well. And it is possible to create a symmetrical output folder structure for the documents processed. So you can create an output subfolder for every input subfolder processed. Again, there is the question of whether you can download the PowerPoint. Yes, we will make both the presentation shown as well as the recording of this webinar available online, and we will send out the corresponding links to all the participants, or actually even to everyone invited, I think. Okay, so no further questions from my part, and with that, we're a few minutes over time. I would like to thank all of you for your attention, and yes, hope to see you again, or at least have you as audience in one of our upcoming next webinars.